What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today's video is going to be about custom lure painting. Now, in my last video, I mentioned that I do custom painting of lures, all different styles, crankbaits, poppers, whopper ploppers, you name it. I paint any kind of hard baits. My company is called Bully Bait Company. Basically, when you get a lure inside your package, you're going to get one of these business cards along with a sticker that you can put on basically anything that you want to. But in today's video, we're going to do a little bit of a special video. So the two boys, Hunter and Lucas, I decided with them that I was going to give them their signature line of lures. So I had them pick out a lure out of all of my lures I have in there, and they both decided to pick two different style whopper ploppers. They could have picked anything, but that's what they chose. So we're going to do a special paint pattern for them. We're going to do whatever color they want, whatever pattern. I'm going to paint it. We're going to put a clear on them, get the eyes on them, install the hooks, and you will see that in this video. So stay tuned for that. Okay. So here is my drawer of all different blanks that I have. Again, like I said, all right, here's a whopper plopper. Here's another topwater bait. I have swim baits, bluegill swim baits. I have another package of whopper ploppers in here. Basically, some small Rapala-like lures. I have obviously a whole mess of crankbaits in different sizes. I mean, here's another popper up here. Basically, I have a ton of different lures, and well, they selected pretty much the same thing. So Hunter, come over here real quick. Show them what you decided you wanted to do. Here we are, basically a whopper plopper. You can see that section spins around. Lucas, let's show them what you decided to pick. This is what Lucas picked. Here we are. I actually do have some of these painted already, but you can see that tail is just a different style whopper plopper. Basically the same thing. So we're gonna go through what they want to do with theirs. So first we're gonna start with Hunter's. Hunter, this is your whopper plopper you want painted. This is going to be the Hunter signature line. I don't know, we'll let him come up with the name that he wants for his signature series, but what colors do you want to do on this?
I'm gonna go with orange, black, and white.
So orange, black, and white. He wants to go with like Halloween theme, I guess. But we'll figure it out. We'll go through stencils. We'll go on there. He can decide whether he wants like a crappie pattern, if he wants any kind of lines in it, dots of any sort, whatever. I have a ton of stencils that I can do on there, but this is going to be Hunter's. Hunter's going with orange, white, and black. Now, Lucas, come on in. Here, hold yours. Here's Lucas's. Again, another whopper plopper. What colors did you want to go?
I want to go with a teal and a black.
Teal and black. And then, like I said, we will go through stencils if he wants to do any kind of a special design. I got a ton of stencils, probably over 75 different stencils that can be done on these, but we will do his that. So stay tuned. I'm going to get these set up. I'm going to get them cleaned off. We're going to start out with a white base coat. I have my booth right here. We'll get them in there and we will start spraying. So stay tuned for that. Alrighty guys, we are going to get started. Let me get this pressure up just a little bit. Alright, so what I'm going to do is, I'm not sure if you can see that or not, I'm going to load some white into this airbrush, and we're going to start out with a white base coat. So, now, typically, just so you guys know, I would typically have my motor going for this booth that I have to kind of suck out any of these fumes. Typically, I would be using that. This is water-based, so I'm not terribly worried about it. Now these guys wanted the tails to match the body. They wanted the tails painted. So I, a lot of times, would leave them the color clear, or I would go basically with like a almost dyed color tail. It seems to be what a lot of people like. But I've also, like I've said, I've done it to where the tails match the color of the lure itself. So I'm going to get paint on these, the base coat, and then we'll move on to whatever the boys decide they want done with a regular coat on that. So just lean that up against there. You can see they went from clear to now white. So there it is. Here's the other one. You can see that. Well, let's focus in on that. Oh, there it is. And there's the other one. So let me grab the boys. I'll put maybe one more coat of base on these just to get them a little bit better, but we will find out from them what they want to do next. So let's stay tuned for that. All right, so we have Hunter's base coated white. Now, I just talked to him. What he wants to do is he wants to do basically the top half of this in black. Now I have regular black, I have a pearl black, I have different blacks. We'll decide which ones he wants, but he wants to do a black halfway. He wants to leave the bottom part white, and then he's going to want to do some kind of a pattern in orange. Now I have multiple oranges, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you guys in closer. We're going to lay on some black, then we'll get the orange pattern on, and we will find out what Lucas wants to do on his. But this is it so far. Let's dive in. Let's get black on this. Now I have Lucas with me. This is his. We have a base coated white. Now what Lucas wants to do, his is a little more simple. I like the idea. He wants to go with a teal on the sides. You want to go black down the back and then a black tail. We're going to leave the belly of it white.
Yep.
All right. So that's going to be Lucas's. We'll take you in for that one. So it's good because now I can just put black in the airbrush and then I can just use the black on both of theirs and go on from there. So I won't have to switch back and forth a couple times with colors. So this is going to be good. So we're going to set his up and then we'll get that one going too. So stay tuned for that one. All right. So I didn't realize originally when I had been doing this that my wireless mic died and I recorded zero audio whatsoever. So in here, I'm going to show you on Lucas's bait, we're spraying a teal down the sides of this bait for him. Now, this brand paint that I'm using here is from a company called Golden. This is actually the first time that I've sprayed this paint, and I have to tell you, I absolutely loved every bit of the way this paint sprayed. Now, I'm just going over both sides here with the teal, along the top, around the eyes. I'm not worried so much about getting it on the tail because the tail again is going to be black. The belly's going to be left white. So I'm just putting a couple coats on here. Now in between coats, what I typically do is I take out this heat gun, which I just give it from a pretty far distance away. I just get the heat going on it and just to basically dry that first coat of paint. And this is water-based paint again, so what I'll end up doing is hitting it with the heat gun a little bit. Now you don't want to go too close to this because you can absolutely put defects in the plastic. A lot of people like to use a hair dryer, which is fine. I've had no problems with a heat gun, so I usually just keep my distance away from it a little bit. Here you go, that's the first coat, and I'm gonna now get into putting on one more coat along the sides and along the top of this bait here, just to give it a little bit of a brighter color. And after that, I'm going to switch over from this teal to black for both of these baits. All right, so I'm going to take you in for the look. This is after a couple coats of this teal, which I think the color is absolutely awesome. I can't wait to use it on other stuff. So that was it right there. All finished with teal. Now we're going to switch over to black. You can see the little puddle on my paper over there. That's where I accidentally put my airbrush down and it tipped over and the paint spilled out. But not a big deal. That's why I put that paper down in the first place, so that I can just easily swap out that plastic and I can, or that paper, and I can just keep everything nice and clean. All right, and there we go, cleaning up that mess. Just wiping it off just so that I don't put my airbrush down in it, or, you know, just don't drop the lure somehow into that little puddle of wet paint. But whatever, crisis aborted, it was cleaned up, not a big deal. Like I said, I can easily swap out that paper. Here I am just testing out the pattern. I loaded black into the airbrush. We're going to test it out, and then we're going to get this bait ready, and we're going to start spraying Hunters. Again, Hunters is going to be black on the sides and the top along with the tail. Lucas is going to have black on top of that teal down the back and the whole tail, and I am just showing you that, and we'll get into doing that now. All right, so now we have black loaded up. We're going to start with Hunter's bait here. We're going to start with black down the sides, some nice even coats. When you paint these baits, you don't want to go too heavy with the airbrush, because you'll run the paint, and basically at that point you might as well just wipe it off. So we do a lot of thin even coats, and a lot of practice it takes to get exactly the the right consistency with painting these before you know it's going to run. So in between coats, I like to hit them with an hit them with my heat gun to help dry them out quicker, so I can get onto the next coat. But this is Hunters. Down the sides, down the back of this bait, the tail section, you can see I'm going in a little more. I know I can add a little more. Now I am going to, at this point, move over to Lucas's. I'm gonna just show you Hunters right here again, black, how it looks. Again, this point, it's nothing crazy. It's just black on the bait. You can see I'm hitting the tail section here a little bit more because I realized it wasn't completely colored in. Again, a lot of times these stay clear. Sometimes people want them to match the bait. The boys want them to match the bait, which is not a problem. Here we grab Lucas's. At this point, his is completely dry, ready to coat with black. So we're gonna go right down the back section of his with some black. Black down the back, down the shoulder a little bit of the bait, and we will hit his whole tail section. This color combo is actually pretty cool. I'm pretty happy with actually the color combo he picked. Hunter's bait, well, he decided on his that he wanted to change his pattern, so you'll see a little bit later. He wanted to go with more of like perch stripes on it originally, and he decided to go differently because of some baits I had hanging up on the wall, and good choice. So I like the way these both turned out. But here I'm just hitting the back and the shoulders of this bait with Lucas's. I'm going around the head and around the eyes with some black. It makes, when you put the eyes in these baits, black around those eye sockets on the bait just make them pop a little bit more. So that's what I'm doing here. You can see I left a lot of blue down the sides. We only really hit it with black right around the eyes, around the gill plate, down the back and the shoulder, and then just that tail section. So I'm putting the airbrush down here, and we're gonna start getting ready to do Hunter's design on his. We'll take you in for a closer look of Lucas's. There you go. Kind of kept it right here. Now, it's very important to keep checking both sides of the bait and looking at it from different angles just to make sure colors are even on both sides. You don't want your color coming down too far on one side and not far enough on the other. It just looks very sloppy. So there they are. let's get ready for the next step. All right, here we are. We have Hunter's bait now laying on a microfiber towel, and it's being held inside a pair of helping hands. So the reason why I do this is because this method that I'm using is just easier to hold this hoop right here, which is used for sewing, that's holding my mesh in here. It's being used to hold it in place, and it's not going to move. Once I press this mesh down over the bait from inside this hoop, it's not going to move. Now it's important to get as many coats as you want to achieve the color you want, and without moving this material, basically this mesh, because if you lift that up, good luck trying to match up that pattern to what you already have sprayed. There's no way you're going to do it, because obviously when you're pressing down on this hoop with the mesh on there, it's going to twist and move that mesh around in different ways. So you have to be very careful to keep it in one place and not move it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put multiple coats on here. This is a pearl orange from Createx, and I'm going to put multiple coats on here, and in between coats I'm going to hit it with the heat gun to dry it so that I can continue to put more coats on until I achieve the color that I want. So Hunter's actually at this point looking over my shoulder, and I told him, hey, when you get the color you like, just give me the thumbs up when you want me to stop. So now it's important just to remember how many coats you put on here, and I'll show you, here's with the heat gun, I'll show you what this looks like when I finally do lift this hoop of mesh off of this bait. All right, so pattern's done. You can see there in the background Hunter's bait. This is what it looks like when you take that mesh off. Basically, whatever you put that mesh over top of, everything's going to be a different color except for what's underneath that mesh, which is the black. So I put a little bit more black back into the gun, the airbrush, and that's just so I can touch up some stuff. And that's all I'm doing here is I'm just touching up. I'm going around the eyes. I'm just fixing the little bit of orange that got onto the head that I did not want there. We wanted to keep the head and the gill area black on this, and that's all I'm doing. Just doing little touch-ups with a little bit of black. Not a big deal. Doing it on Hunter's. I take a look at Lucas's. It didn't need anything really on his, so that's all I'm doing is a little bit of touch-up, and we move on to the next step, which is going to be, once this dries, gluing in the eyes. All right, and here you go. We got Lucas's right here, and awesome color combination with that black, teal, and white. And we have Hunter's, which I'm glad he went with more of this scale pattern, and a really cool look on this bait as well. I think both boys did very well with choosing bait colors and bait styles, and I like what they chose. So this is it. Let's go over to gluing in the eyes next, and you'll see that'll make the baits completely really change the way they look, and they're going to really pop. All right, so I realized in my last video I had to do a voiceover through half of my videos because my wireless mic died, so I had no audio. So that was great. But Hunter chose eyes for his bait here. These are the ones he chose. They are brown, which should match this bait really well. I'm going to try and get my hands around this to do this for you guys so you can see, but I'm going to install the eye right now. We're going to glue this in. I'm just going to try not to hit the camera here. We just need a little dab of glue in here. There we go. We got that on there. It's plenty. We're going to get his eye out. And press that in place. There you go. It's one eye in. We're gonna flip it over and we will do the other side. Focus, please. Thank you. Press that in, and there's the other one installed. So now we're going to do the same thing for the other one that we painted. We'll get that one in here. This one is going to get Silver Eyes. This is what he chose. So let's get a dab of glue on this. There we are. And like I said, he chose silver, which I think is a good call. That will look good. Get one of these on. Press that in, and there's his. So we'll do the same thing to the other side, and we will get on to then clearing these, installing their hooks, and these guys will be done with their baits. So let's get a drip of glue. Oops. Trying to get the eye on this edge of this X-Acto knife here. There we go. Press that in place, and that is his. So we can see there's one, and here's the other. Pretty cool looking baits. I like these. I think the boys chose very well. So, like I said, we'll get some clear on these, and we will start wrapping up this video. Alrighty guys, I just want to show you some baits I already have finished. Here's a small crank in like a brown pearl white with black. We have another one here, purple, orange fins. We have a perch style that is done. That bait I literally have painted for myself, and I have caught a ton of fish on that one. It's got an orange belly, yellow into green, black. Awesome bait. Fish catcher. Here we have crank. This is a purple with a silver, red eyes. Awesome looking crank there. We have another whopper plopper style orange belly with, white belly with orange on the throat, black and yellow crappie pattern there, and then a fire crawl crank that I do. Obviously you can see it there, red, orange, the red eyes, and black around the head. Now these, as I get done, I just hang them up and I list them on my Etsy site for sale. So those are all listed, ready to go. And now I am going to take you in for the final reveal on the two boys baits. Stay tuned for that. Alrighty guys, well that's gonna do it. I hope you enjoyed this video. I think the boys, like I said earlier in the video, I think they did an excellent job choosing colors and patterns. I would definitely fish with them. Now you got to see the process and what I can basically do. If you get a chance, check out Bully Bait Co. on Instagram. I think it's also on TikTok. I don't have a whole lot of videos on there because I was just starting to kind of get into recording some videos and taking pictures last summer. Then I kind of stopped painting for a little while, and well, fishing season's back, and I don't think I'm going to stop painting now, even in the wintertime. I have a little bit of a better setup. I don't have to worry about the cold weather affecting the paint or anything like that. So I'm going to continue painting up baits. So check that out. This is, I'll link down in the description my Etsy store. I'll link the Instagram accounts for actually this channel and for the Bully Bait Co. company. That's about it. We are extremely close to 500 subscribers, and I can't thank you guys enough for that. So I think we're like 39 away. As soon as we hit that mark, I think what I'm going to do, I think I know what I'll do for the giveaway is I'm going to custom paint up a bunch of baits, and I will ship them out to the winner. And like I said, we only need 39 more, so we're not that far away. So hopefully you guys can help me get there with that. I appreciate it extremely, and hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you liked it, do me a favor, give a thumbs up. If there's a color pattern or any kind of certain specific design or something you want to try, you know, maybe a bait that's already out in a certain color that you like, that you want me to try to match that pattern in that color pattern, let me know in the comments, and I'll do a future video on that, painting them up. But that's going to wrap it up. So do me a favor, hit the thumbs up or a thumbs down if you didn't like it. Leave a comment in the down in the video, and we'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching.